Hello all, welcome to Naresh IT Labs. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about the looping statements and the different types of looping statements we have like for loop, while loop and do while loop with some examples. So let me go to Eclipse and here I'm creating a new class and I would say looping statements concept. So public static void main I'm selecting, click on finish button. So before we understand about looping statements and what is the benefit of having the looping statements, suppose if if we have to print the output here in the console something like hello for three times. So what we do system.out.println hello, system.out.println hello, and system.out.println hello. So when you write system.out.println for three times in the console, it would print hello as three times in the console here. Run. You could see the output as hello three times in console. What if like I want to print for five times? So again you will be repeating this. So again you are writing two more system.out.printlns, and now here in the output it would print as 5. Now the second thing is, suppose if we have to count and say, or if we have to say whether it printed hello for 5 times, I need to manually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I can say that it has printed for 5 times. So what we are trying to achieve here is we want to print the same statement for multiple times, or we want to repeat the same statements for multiple times, or we want to execute the same line of code for multiple times. That's where we go with the looping concepts in Java. Loops. So the main reason why we go for loops is to repeat execution of same statements for multiple times. That's where we need to go with the looping statements. Now coming to the looping statements in Java, we have three different types of looping statements. One is for loop, second is while loop, and the third is do while loop. So to start off with, we will be starting with for loop, and we would be seeing how we can print this output called hello for three times. So for loop. So the syntax of for loop would be for control space. You can use this use index on array. So this is the one that you can select it. For use index on array, enter. So your for loop has three different portions. One is, this is called variable declaration. You can give any variable. And this is called assigning the value. So int I is nothing but variable declaration, equal to 0 is nothing but you are assigning the value. Let's say I'm assigning the value to 1. And how many times you want to run? I want to run for 3 times. As you are starting with 1, here I'm going to say 4. Now this is called loop increment. So this is called variable declaration. This is called assigning the value to a variable. This is called condition check. For how many times you want to run, that's called as condition check. And this is called loop increment. So let me write it here. So this portion is called as declare variable and assign value. And the second is condition check. and the third is loop increment. So now whatever statements you want to run, you will be writing it inside the for loop. So system.out.println hello. So I'm clearing the console so we can see the fresh output here. So when I write this program, how this program would work? First, it will start executing. I value is 1 less than 4, condition is valid. It will increment your loop by 1, which will be 2. It will go and print hello for the first time. Now I value is 2 less than 4, condition is still valid. It will increment your I value by 1 more, which will be 3. It will print for the second time. Now I value is 3 less than 4, condition is still valid. It will increment I value by 1 more, which will be 4. It will print for the third time. Now I value is 4 less than 4, condition is not true. Then it will stop your execution there. That means it will come out of the for loop. So this statement will execute until your condition is true. Once the condition is not true, it will come out of the loop. So here I am mentioning the same. For loop will execute code until the condition is true. Once condition becomes false, then it will exit from the loop. So if I go and run now, hello, 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 it printed for 3 times. So now what I can do, I can also print my I value. So by writing I plus, I am concatenating I value with hello. So now here you could see in the output, it would also print the I value. So this is how you can print your statement for multiple times like this. So let me take another example. I want to print, let's say, my name for 3 times. So I'm using the for loop. Int I is equal to 0. Here I started with 1. Now I'm starting with 0. So when you are starting with 0, suppose if I want to print for 3 times, so here I can still say 4. I can still say I can say 3 here. Sorry. I will say 3 and then I plus plus. So inside I am writing system.out.println nourish. Now how this program will work? So first I value is 0. Is 0 less than 3? Condition is true. It will increment your I value by 1, which will be 1. It will go and print for the first time. Now the latest value of I is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Condition is still valid. It will increment your I value by 1, which will be 2. It will print for the second time. Now I value is 2. Is 2 less than 3? Condition is still valid. It will increment by 1 more, which will be 3. It will go and print for the third time. Now I value is 3. Is 3 less than 3? Condition is not valid. It will exit from the loop. So let me run the program. This program I'm running it. Nourish, nourish, nourish. It printed for 3 times. Now the same, I'm writing it in the other way. So what I want to do, I want to print a message called Java for 3 times. Now I'm starting with, let's say, 1. So I is equal to 1. I less than, here if you see you have mentioned 4, but I'll mention 3. but I will say less than or equal to 3. And here I am printing system.out.println Java. Now how this code will execute? So I value is 1. Is 1 less than 3? But 1 is not equal to 3. So as 1 is less than 3, it will go into the loop and it will try to print for the first time by incrementing your I value. So your I value will be 2. It will print for the first time. Now I value is 2. Is 2 less than 3? Condition is valid. But 2 is not equal to 3. But still, as this 2 is less than 3, it will still go inside the loop by increment your I value to 1 more, which will be 3. Your I value is 3. Is 3 less than 3? Condition is not true. But 3 is equal to 3. So due to which it will go into the loop and print for the third time by incrementing your I value to 1 more, which will be 4. So latest value is 4. Is 4 less than 3? Condition is not true. Is 4 equal to 3? Condition is not true. Then it will come out of the loop completely. So if you run the program, it would print Java for 3 times. So this is how your for loop would look like. And in what cases do we need to go for loop is when we know how many times we need to we need to run the program, then we will go with for loop. Here I want to run for 3 times. Here I want to run for 4 times, or I want to run for 5 times. When you know how many times you want to run, that's where you go with the for loop in Java. So this is all about your for loops. Then we have the next type of looping statement, which is nothing but while loop. So while loop, it is similar like your for loop, but the syntax is different. So here, while, so iterate while loop with condition. This is the one. So here it is asking us to specify the condition. So if you see the for loop, which one is the condition? This is your condition. So this is your condition. You need to specify that condition. So I'm specifying the condition I less than 3. I want to run for 3 times. Now it is throwing an error because in Java, without declaring a variable, you cannot use it. So I have not declared anywhere. I'm trying to use it. That is the reason why it is throwing an error. So place your cursor. It says I cannot be resolved to a variable. So what I need to do is I am defining the I variable on the top. Same like your for loop. Can I define a variable here? Can I go and define a variable here? It will not allow you because it clearly says here it should be only the condition. It will not allow you like for loop. So that is the reason why I am declaring the variable on the top. So now you declared a variable. It is throwing you another error. The local variable I may not have been initialized. That means you haven't initialized the variable. So what I'm doing is I'm initializing the variable to 0. Int I is equal to 0. Now this part I have defined here, right? Now the second part condition, this I have defined here, but I am not incrementing my loop. If I don't increment the loop, what would happen? Let's see. System.out.println hello. I want to print hello for 3 times. Now if you run your program, now if you see your output is still keep on printing. Why it is still keep on printing is it is going into infinite loop because always your I value is considered as 0. Nowhere in the program we are saying that increment from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. That program we are not saying here. That statement we are not defining here. So let's say if you come tomorrow by keeping this Eclipse open, still it will be keep on executing. So this is called infinite loop. So whenever you are using a while loop, there is a high possibility that you can go into for loop, you can go into infinite loop if you don't increment your I value. So let me stop this. Let me show you whether your I value is getting incremented or not. So what I'll do is I will also print I value. So now here you will observe I value is always 0 if you run. See that? So let me stop. See that? Your I value is always 0. It is always 0, always 0, always 0, due to which it is going into infinite loop. So what I'll do here, once I have executed the line of code, I am incrementing it by saying I++. So now if you run the program, it will print for 3 times. So how the program will work? I value is 0. Is 0 less than 3? Condition is valid. It will go and print for the first time by incrementing your I value to 1. Now the latest value for I is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Condition is still valid. It will print for the second time by incrementing your I value to 2. Is 2 less than 3? Condition is still valid. It will print for the third time by incrementing your I value to 3. Is 3 less than 3? Condition is not valid. It will stop your execution. So this is how your while loop would look like. And when we are not sure how many times we need to run, then we will go with while loop. First thing. And the second thing is while loop, if we are not incrementing loop, then it can go to infinite loop. Second one. And the third one is and the third one here is, so always it's better to remember the syntax and then write it. So this is what you will be having in your while loop, right? And the third one is, in your while loop, if the condition do not meet, it will not enter into the loop. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'm going to say I value as 10 because it is doing the condition check at the beginning. So I'm saying I value is 10. Is 10 less than 3? Condition check is happening at the beginning itself. As this condition do not meet, it will not even enter into the loop. So let me run this. Nothing it will print because it hasn't entered into the loop, because the condition check is happening at the beginning. If the condition check is happening at the beginning and if the condition is not met, it will not even enter into the loop. So this is what the third thing. Condition check is happening at the beginning. So if condition is not true, it will not enter into the loop. So this is all about your while loop. So the next one we have is do while loop. So now here do do while statement. This is the one. So whatever statement you want to execute, you will be writing it here. So let's say I want to print my name for 3 times. So here you need to specify the condition. What is the condition? I less than 3. I want to print for 3 times. So even here you need to first declare a variable int I and assign a value to it. So you have declared a variable and assigned a value. You are doing a condition check, and if you are not incrementing the loop like this, it will turn into infinite loop. So once the statement is executed, I'm incrementing the loop I plus plus. So I'm incrementing the loop. Suppose if you don't increment the loop, same like your while loop. So here I am printing system.out.println I. I'm printing the I value. Let's see what will be the I value if I am not incrementing it. And if you see, as the loop is not incremented, it went into the infinite loop and your I value is printed as 0, 0, 0, 0. Suppose if you keep this open like this, it can it can be printing the output like this only. So let me stop this. So what I'm doing, so in order to increment the loop, I'm saying I plus plus. And if you run the program, now it would print your output called Naresh for 3 times. Okay, so coming to your while do while loop, when we are not sure how many times we need to run, then we will go for do while loop first thing. And the second thing is, if we are not incrementing the loop, then it can go to infinite loop. Even this is applicable for do while loop. And the third is, your condition check is happening at the beginning. So here if you see, condition check is happening at the beginning. So due to which, if the condition is not met, at least it will go inside the loop once. Suppose I value is 5. So when you run the program, I value is 5, it will go into the do loop. It will print Naresh for 1 time. Now your I value will become 6. So is 6 less than 3, condition is not valid, it will stop your execution there. So run this, it printed only once. So here I'm saying condition check is happening at the end if, due to which, condition check is happening at the end, due to which it will at least execute code once, though condition do not match. So this is all about your do while loop. So these are all the different looping statements we have for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Now there is a possibility that people can ask you in the interviews, what is the difference between while loop and do while loop? So the main differences between while loop and do while loop is, in both the cases, if loop is not incremented, it will go into infinite loop. And the second difference is, in your while loop, condition check is happening at the beginning. Suppose if condition is not true, it will not even enter into the loop. Coming to your do while loop, condition check is happening at the end. If condition is not, if condition is not true also, at least it will execute once the code inside your do while loop. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.